Hey, let's talk about the top prospects of the week. And they are brought to us by some prospects. The Hudson Valley Renegades went up there last year, took some photos, signed some balls. Wasn't really a big deal, just a normal day for me. Beautiful stadium tucked in the Hudson Valley, up in Wappingers Fall, New York. Gorgeous year round. And what they're doing the rest of the year, buy one, get one lower box ticket the rest of the season with code JOMBOY. If you're trying to get some nice seats to a game, Hudson Valley is hooking it up. Buy one, get one. And they're also for merch, hats, swag at the Renegade store. Code JOMBOY again, 20% off. So guess what? Catch yourself some swag, sit in some good seats, and enjoy some future Yankee greats. Everson Pereira, yep. Anthony Siegler, sure. Matt Sauer, Beck Way. These could be the future of the Pinstripers. And right now, they are balling out in the Hudson Valley. Check them out on all social media, HV Renegades, Instagram, Twitter, The Talk, Peter's TikTok. They got a home series coming up against the Rome Braves. So go check them out. Code JOMBOY. BOGO, buy one, get one lower box tickets or 20% off merch at the store. So
let's get it. You want me to start, my friend?
You start. There's some great names on here, and I think that's what's most important.
Oh, there is some great names. Here we go. Gordon Graceffo I'm going to go with Graceffo. Gordon Graceffo, Cardinals number 22 prospect, a right-handed pitcher. He had an amazing debut for AA Springfield Cardinals on May 27th, called up on May 23rd from Peoria, pitched 7-inning complete game and a 3-2 win against the Tulsa Dodgers. He leads the Cardinals minor league system with 52.2 innings and a 1.20 ERA with 60 punch-outs. He's a Villanova alum, Matty. Wow. And his college career was interrupted by COVID, but he's been pumping through the system. Amazing. And there's might be a long-term role for him in the rotational bullpen in 2022, Matty. Wow, really?
Whoa. When I got the notes, I was like, really? We're starting off with Gordon Graceffo? And then I saw the Villanova part of it, and I was like, okay. Yeah. I see what's going on here.
That makes sense.
He's their first draft pick in the past decade. So that's cool.
Wildcats.
I asked someone the other day because my colleague got Villanova and Vandy mixed up, and he said Villanova baseball team. They do have a baseball team in Villanova, Matty?
Yeah, they do.
Wow.
Okay, awesome. Any disrespect at all? I was just absolutely asking the question.
Northeast baseball can be tough. Only because I just may have mentioned a bachelor party in the Cape. And one day we were golfing, and I think conditions dropped to like 49 and rainy. While meanwhile, the boys in the South don't have to deal with that.
The sweaty boxes. Tee boxes, I mean.
Which
obviously.
is which is a good trade. Good job, Gordon. We'll see you on the Cardinals, says Matt.
Apparently we'll see you in September. Yeah, dominate. Let's go.
Oh, I did. Peter, now that we're on Gordon Graceffo and this tied to Michael Harris, I did want to ask you, guys that skip AAA, do you have a stance on that? Do you even care? Or is it just guy to guy or what?
It's guy to guy. I've seen it work, obviously. I don't know. I think it's just the number of at-bats. I don't know that there's a lot of difference between AAA and AA. I know that maybe there used to be. I felt like when I first came over here in 06, it was like a lot of the older guys were in AAA and a lot of the super prospects were in AA. You got your 14-year AAA veteran catchers in AAA that wouldn't go to AA, whereas it's a bunch of younger guys. But I think that's changed a little bit now. I think that a lot of guys that are in AAA now are names that if they got called up, you would not go, oh, who? I think there's a lot of those guys in AAA right now, but there's still a lot of the prospects in AA. So Frenchie did it, Brian McCann did it, Kelly Johnson did it. There's been There's been guys that have done it and had success. So I just, it's just the amount of at bats that's going to be the question.
I guess, did any of those guys you just mentioned, I mean, were they surprised? Cause like, I don't know. I guess in your head, especially, you know, the way athletes see, it's like, okay, I'm going to get to high A, I'm going to get to double A, I'm going to get to triple A, I'm going to get to the big leagues. I guess, were any of those guys just flat out stunned? Like, wait, I'm going to the show?
Right. I think that was in 05 for the Braves. There was a bunch of guys that got called. They called up 5 or 6 guys from Double A that year, and they called them the baby Braves. It was a thing. It was Kelly Johnson, McKay McBride, Blaine Boyer, Brian McCann, Jeff Francoeur. All these guys came up together at the same time, and they ended up winning the division, and they ended up having some success. So, and all those guys went on to have decent careers, really good careers. So I've seen it work. It's as I said, I don't think it was a shock to any of them. I just think that they were playing so well, and it was they kind of forced their hand, a lot like Michael Harris.
Yeah, that's I don't know. There's a lot of shortstop talk in Yankee land this offseason and into the season, as you caught some of at the spring training house, and Volpe's at Double A. And I don't know if the Yankees have done that with a pitcher in recent years, Johnny Loizaga, actually, but I don't think they've done it with a hitter in recent years. So interested to see that. Peter, it looks like the next guy on the list is a guy that you guys have talked about a lot. Baseball's talked about a lot. Got called up to the show this year, but things were happening a little slow, for lack of a better term. But it looks like CJ Abrams is starting to go in AAA, number 6 overall prospect.
Well, we talked about him. He struggled, obviously. He came up, he was forced up to come with the Los Padres, and, you know, struggled a little bit. Hit 182 in 20 games before getting sent back down. This won't be the last we see of him, obviously, but since he's been down, he's been heating up a little bit last 4 games. 9 for 16 with a homer, 7 RBIs, and 8 runs scored. Saturday, he homered and drove in 4 runs in a 3-hit game, leading El Paso to a 14-5 win over the Sugarlands. Who are they now? The Skeeters or the Matty?
Space Cowboys.
Space Cowboys, that's right. They sent us T-shirts and everything. I should know that. He's MLB's number 6 prospect and currently still at the El Paso Chihuahuas. What do you got on CJ?
Man, the Padres haven't been talked enough this baseball season. They were a question mark coming in. Like, you know, especially when Tatis goes down, and who are the San Francisco Giants going to be? We know what the Dodgers are. They're just a wagon. They casually swept this weekend using their 5 through 9 starting pitchers, basically. That's just how that team's built. I'm excited to see where we're at with the Padres come August, September. I want to see when Tatis is back. I want to see them give Abrams another chance, that when we bring up a Padres lineup, that if you're a Padres fan, this is supposed to be the year. This is the year this is why they got Clevenger. This is why they got Snell. So, man, I know Abrams, he got a little bit of run at the show level, and the numbers aren't too pretty. And again, it just goes to show that Major League Baseball is a completely different animal. But it was 20 games. And by the way, like I think the defensive metrics in a small span, which you shouldn't use defensive metrics in a small span. But he got a stolen base in the show. He got a homer in the show. I like when someone can get a little hunger in their belly. Like when CJ Abrams got called up to the show this year, he said, all right, I'm about to start my 15-year MLB career. And then 20 games later, he's playing the Sugarland Space Cowboys. So I think when he gets his next opportunity, he's gonna be ready to go.
I do too. And I think maybe it would have, because he knew that it was an emergency. Like, it wasn't like, hey, we're bringing you up because you've earned the right to come up. It was more of a, hey, buddy, we're going to need you to come and fill a spot for a few days, couple of weeks. I think that was spelled out to him early on. So I don't know that there was any disappointment getting sent down. It was almost like a lack of pressure for him too, a little bit. So I'm with you. When he comes back up again and he's ready and prepared, and he's done, he's stayed as hot as he is right now, and he's done it for a few months, then he's going to be comfortable and feeling real nice.
And I mean, a little bit of an update here. It looks like his full name is Paul Christopher Abrams.
I can see the CJ. Yeah.
So that's a little okay. Okay. I'm a little shook by that. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that.
Because there's no J.
I just want to talk about the fact that Eric Hosmer's still hitting.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that because he's such an unbelievable teammate. I don't want to just sit here and talk into Eric Hosmer's show, but he struggled the last 2 years. I think trying to change and trying to adapt to the way that the game was making everybody. And I don't think it was a fit for him, obviously, but I really do think that he's found himself a little bit over there. He's comfortable now, swinging the bat well.
Man,
shout out to you, Hos.
He's having a really nice year. Plouffe is a big Haas guy too, but almost like straight admiration. Like I think they hung out once, and I think Plouffe's a little jealous of his overall look and bank account.
Plouffe's on his way. Don't get. Plouffe's currently vacationing on like the freaking.
Yeah.
He's doing some sort of show Italy trip, and he's posting photos in like he looked like an Armani model the other day. It pissed me off so much. I was like, this. I mean, does he? Can he leave something for the rest of us? Something. You
and me, both, Peter. Maybe the future Trevor Plouffe is Yorlin Calderon.
You gonna talk about the Yankees prospect right here?
The Yankees 20-year-old right-handed prospect. Little complete game no.
Yeah.
Whoops.
In a single A debut too. Like imagine that. Hey, do you mind coming up and making your debut? Sure. You mind if I go little shut Johnny for you? Complete game, no hitter, shutty. 7 innings, 7 Ks, 2 walks, no hits. Welcome to A-ball.
The Rachel Balkovich effect, some say.
Really? So how's she doing after she got smoked? She's back and managing and she she came to Australia as a hitting coach for one of the teams in Australia, and I think she had a really, really good impact on that team. They really enjoyed having her with Manny. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I haven't I think she's just been back since she got hit. I don't know. We'll have to follow up on that a little bit. Man, minor league baseball is so crazy. Our guy Yorlin, numbers at the previous levels, not so hot. Small sample size. He's only got 53.2 innings of minor league baseball, but hey, he's been waiting for high A Tampa,
Look, my numbers in AAA are not very good, but my numbers in the big leagues, they play. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes you just got to get to the level you belong. Maybe he belongs higher up.
I think you're right.
Thank you.
Connor Jones, 27 years of age, was picked up by the Mariners on April 2nd following his release from St. Louis.
Love these stories.
Drafted in the second round in 2016, decided to go play college ball at University of Virginia after he was drafted in 2013. He hasn't been scored on in 22 innings across his last 3 starts for Double-A Arkansas. Complete game, no hitter after being named the Texas League Pitcher of the Week the previous day. The no obviously led to a 6-0 win against your sod poodles, Peter. 7 innings pitched, 8 Ks. How about it, Connor Jones?
Well done. Nice job. I love those stories, man. Redemption. Speaking of redemption, I'm going to move on real quick because I know you got to go and we've got a fair bit to get to. So we're going to pick the pace up a little bit here, big fella. You ready?
Okay, ready.
And I got another tough name. Hendrick Clementina. Originally signed out of Curacao in 2014 by the Dodgers, was released, then signed by the Los Bravos, 2021 as a minor league free agent. As of Sunday, he was looking to extend his 7-game hitting streak for the Mississippi Braves. He's reached base 13 straight plate appearances across 3 games. May 27th, he went 5 for 5 with a homer and a walk and a stolen base. Catcher, by the way. May 28th, 4 for 4 with a 444-foot home run, 3 RBIs and a walk. So Shea Langoliers was traded this offseason, if you remember that. We now have William Contreras up in the big leagues raking, and now we have a bunch of other prospects that are coming through. So I think Alex Anthopoulos knows what he's doing a little bit.
Our guy, Hendrick Clementina, a little 826 OPS this year in the minors. Just keep getting on base every time.
not that hard. We'll see you up here in no time if you keep doing that. If you don't get out for the next 2 weeks, I promise you we'll call you up.
There's got to be a story like that. There's got to be some kid that just reeled off like a
27
9
to 27.
Yeah, and the big league team was just like, all right,
We need the hot hand. Let's go.
yeah, fire it up, Vance Honeycutt.
What a name. Is this any relation to Rick?
Our research department's on it right now.
Thank you. And if you want to cut that out, that's fine.
Maddie pretended to type into a fake keyboard for a second there.
Just like he does when he says we're going to do the old, okay, let's see who goes first. Bing, bong, boom. That's me. Hey, there we go. Draft away.
It's just randomlistgenerator.org.
.org isn't a thing. I've been around since the internet was invented, and .org isn't a thing.
I'm going to have to go with Peter here. Sorry, Vance Honeycutt, drafted by the San Francisco Giants in the 20th round. He said, I'm Vance Honeycutt. I'm going to UNC, and I'm going to be a higher draft pick. He's a freshman, but he's putting together one of the best individual seasons in North Carolina baseball history. That's a pretty prestigious program down there.
It is.
First freshman to have a 2020 season since 2011. First UNC baseball player ever to have a 2020 season. Holy smokes. And he capped it off with 2 dingers in the ACC championship game Sunday versus NC State. Have a year, kid.
Wow. So he's now going to go, what, top 5 rounds after this year, you think?
I like that. Without actually knowing the scouting and, digging into mock
just
draft.
Based on what he did this year, he's obviously elevated where he's going to go in the draft.
Because I'll show you how my brain works. I feel like if you see a starting pitcher who gets drafted out of high school and turns it down, and they're like 6th or 7th round, that means they're like a first rounder. That means the next sweep, they're going to be up there. So if you're going Vance Honeycutt in round 20, yeah, doing some math and some division, I'd think he'd be a top 5 round guy. It's not a perfect science. Let's see. He's the son of Leah and Bob Honeycutt.
Not Rick, the former pitching coach of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
It looked like his 2 sisters played soccer at UNC Charlotte. Mom was track and field, and dad was UNC baseball. So yeah, some athletes.
That's some gene pool right there. Holy cow!
I need a little bit of that. Keep rolling, because there's a guy that you guys have been talking about that was across the field from him in the ACC championship game.
I can't see it, but if we're talking Tommy Tanks, this guy's been doing this since the first week of the season. He hit like 42 home runs. So if he's continued to do it, sorry he couldn't do it in the championship, but Tommy Tanks, keep going, big boy.
ACC Freshman of the Year over Vance Honeycutt. Tough year, Vance, breaking records, but there's a guy going by the name of Tommy Tanks that's doing his damn thing. Hey, you know what? Whenever I hear a story like that, I hope it's something that in 10 years is really cool. That Tommy Tanks is on the Cubs and Vance Honeycutt's on the Brewers, and they've been playing against each other for 15 years now,
I'm with you, man.
Alec Burleson, I think our final name before the weekly news flash, drafted by the St. Louis Birds, 2nd round of 2020, number 11 overall prospect. Cardinals fans are clamoring for him to be called up. Okay, Cardinals fans. And I think they're doing that because he's hitting .331 with 10 yackers for the Memphis Redbirds.
7 steaks.
Yeah. 4 for 5 on Saturday with a stolen base. His 3rd consecutive 3-hit game. And the May slash line, 360, 394, 584, 978. Should St. Louis bring up in bold, Corey Dickerson is struggling? Pete?
Let me have a look.
Let's go check out our Cardinals.
Yeah. Where are they at right now?
Looks like they're about to play the Padres at home for 3. Their offense has been generally pretty good this year, but a lot of that is Paul Goldschmidt and Arenado, which that's fine. That's their game plan.
That's what Corey Dickerson currently slashing 182 with a .45 OPS. I mean, I don't like to draw attention to things that aren't positive, but that's tough.
No, and I mean,
they're 3.5 games back from Milwaukee. Like, why not? Why not? That's going to be an interesting. That's going to be an interesting division, I think. I think obviously the Cardinals and the Brewers are just going to fight it out the rest of the year, but it's all going to depend on what the older guard can do for the Cardinals. It's all those, Wainwright, Yardy, Albert. It's like we're back in 2005.
They recently called up a couple guys, Nolan Gorman, the big prospect, Yepes. They called him up. He's been hitting Brendan Donovan. So
Liberatore's come up to pitch too.
Yeah, like I don't know at this point. Like, hey, it's some of the young guys have been playing. If you can find a slot without, obviously like 40-man roster stuff and starts to factor in, but I don't know. Seems like the kid's having an all right time at AAA if you can find him a few at bats.
Yeah. Then it becomes a question, right? So this is where this is the interesting part about GMing, I think, is that you have a guy, obviously you have your prospects and you have these guys that have got value and they're ranked and all the rest of it and everybody knows about them. But then you have these guys that come up that are relatively obscure. And then the decision becomes, okay, well, can I afford to bring up this guy that we really haven't banked on having success? And then if he doesn't have success, then we can just cut him loose. But we've still got the guys that are ranked in our top 10.
Right.
And we don't really lose anything as far as value goes. So that's, and I've seen it before where they've called up a guy that may have not be their top prospect, but they know that they can, as I said, at the end of it all done, DFA him, non-tender him, whatever happens, because they don't see the value in him. It's just so some guys get a big league opportunity all based on the fact that they weren't one of the top prospects.
You're right, Peter. I mean, you can drive yourself nuts thinking about it because I think pitchers end up on a better side than hitters because I'll give you an example. Joe Mantiply, who's on the D-backs, who you're about to see. He was a Yankees guy that they were just never going to really give him a chance. They were running out of bodies. They called him up. They put him on the 40-man. I think he pitched like 2 or 3 games, and then they DFA'd him. And that was it. That was the Joe Mantiply experience. Now, because he got released from the Yankees, he's now on the Diamondbacks, and he's actually pitching really well. So if that allows you to go somewhere else and have an opportunity, we love that. For hitters, I think teams are so scared about A, losing the asset, or B, getting burnt by the asset that they don't do a lot of things. And I think there were times when the Yankees could have sent down Gleyber Torres, but there's still such a connotation about being sent down to AAA. I think we need to get over a little bit. Just a little bit. Like, baseball's a hard game.
Yeah.
And it just does get tricky though, because if you start moving things too much, then you get players about not having their opportunity and not getting comfortable. So yeah, I get it.
So not to put the old man hat on, but there was a time when I first came up where you had to prove that you could play every aspect of this game, whether it be the littlest of little things. If you couldn't hold runners or throw to bases, you weren't going to go to the big leagues. That was just it. Now, I think there's a lot more opportunity for guys to get called up. But at the same time, if they struggle, they are going to get sent back down. Whereas before it was, oh man, if you get sent back down after all that you've done in AAA and then you get your first chance and then you've got to go back, it was kind of seen as a, fuck, you're never coming back again.
Right.
Whereas now I think it's almost like it's just you're going down a level. You got to go work it out like a Kellenic. Go work it out, figure it out, come back, and we know you can still do it, and then maybe get another chance. But how many times is that going to have an impact on a kid's career where he's just like, fuck, enough, man. Like I clearly can't compete at this level.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. I guess I just there's guys like we just talked about, Alec Burleson, who number 11 prospect. That's normally not a guy that the GM has penciled in for your 3-5 year plans as an organization. But man, if it started to click and it's going, like, I don't know, find out. Like it would be good for baseball as a whole if we find out, instead of, I don't know how long the Cardinals could potentially keep a guy like him down in the minor leagues, or, is he on? I'll bring up the Cardinals 40 man. Don't do that enough.
Yeah.
But it becomes the line between like messing with guys' livelihoods, and protecting an asset that, yeah, he's currently not on their 40 man. So to put him on, you might have to cut someone. And then is it worth the Cardinals to cut someone like Corey Dickerson, who's got a really nice major league career, and maybe he just had a bad month? It's you're right, Peter. It's where, I'd love if you and I could be co-GMs of a team and make these decisions.
Fine. We'll sign up for that one day.
Jake Snakes. Hey, I think this brings us to the weekly news flash. Boop, boop, boop,
it does.
boop, boop. Brought to you by Greg Morris Cards. GMC. He's dynamite. Greg Morris Cards. He's the most trusted sports card seller on the planet, Pete. What are you number one of on the planet?
Calling a game in an Aussie accent.
I think you might be. American baseball game.
American baseball game.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan Roland Smith. We're equal. Me and Ryan Roland Smith, equal.
Peers.
Equal first.
Greg Morris Cards. Greg Morris, he sells over 80,000 sports cards every month, 2,000 a day, over 1 million last year, selling vintage cards. They also got the modern stuff. They got the young bloods that you're talking about here. Bobby Witt Jr., Jordan Alvarez, Spencer Torkelson. Bobby Witt Jr. starting to really get it going. I think Torkelson. We'll see. But hey, free combined shipping when you order 2 or more cards. Greg Morris and his team grade every card they sell. Buyers have been trusting Greg's grades for years. If they say the card is mint, the card is mint. Go to gregmorriscards.com to see their inventory. Follow GMC on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And this month only, when you check out, send them a message through eBay saying you heard about GMC through JOMBOY and get $5 off your order of $50 or more. Greg Morris Cards.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'm going to run through this week's headlines. You ready?
Feed me.
This week's headlines. I feel like there should be some theme music. Futures League game ended 4-4, so it was decided by a home run derby. How do you feel about that? Just real quick.
I don't hate it for a Futures League game.
Excellent. Manny Ramirez Jr. then hit a bomb, which led to the win. Gorman and Liberatore, childhood friends, both called up rookies by the Cardinals on the same day. These kids played travel ball together. They were drafted together. They've been in the minor league system together. Awesome story. Rookies are carrying the Kansas City Royals, led by Bobby Witt and MJ Melendez, who's absolutely got the swing that I see that for years. And Hofstra advances to the NCAA regionals for the first time in program history on a walk-off hit by pitch.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow. The Hofstra Flying Dutchman, I believe.
Really? What a nickname. I'm going to need that hat, by the way.
Hofstra, let's see.
While you look that up, just a couple of notes here. MJ Melendez, we obviously know, is the catcher that led the minors in home runs last season. So he's a little bit blocked by Salvador Perez, but he did start his first game in right field last night.
Ooh.
No balls hit to him, but he went 2 for 4 with a double, so maybe he likes right field. Then the other
William Contreras also played the outfield. We're seeing Dalton Varsho is a catcher / center fielder. Like, there's a lot of crossovers going on with athletic catchers right now. Sorry, Matty, go ahead.
No, then the only other thing, a little bit of sad news, is that Royce Lewis ran into the center field wall last night while trying to catch a baseball. Another guy that's playing out of position, naturally a shortstop. And he was taken out of the game. So we haven't heard anything yet other than he got put on the IL, and Jose Miranda got called back up. So we
Okay.
don't know any details about the injury, but we hope he's okay.
We do too. Thank you. Well done, Matty. All right, Jake, you ready for this?
Bobby Witt Jr. over his last 32 games now, and 823 OPS. He's starting to really figure it out. I love that.